Hi, everybody, and welcome into GoLimestoneSaints.com. In the latest edition for Saints Live, an inside look at Limestone College athletics. We have a special men's lacrosse show only for you today. The defending national champions getting set to get their 2015 season underway within the next few days. And we'll talk men's lacrosse with the head coach of the Saints, J.B. Clarke. So that and much more when we continue with the latest edition of Saints Live after this. Welcome back, everyone, as Saints Live, an inside look at Limestone College athletics continues from the Stevenson Dining Hall. I'm Fabian Fuentes, now joined by the head coach of the Limestone men's lacrosse program, and J.B. Clarke. And, Coach, thanks for taking time to join us here. The off-season looks like it's treated you well, my friend.
Well, thank you. It's hard to believe that it's January and we're already one scrimmage into the preseason and ready to roll next Saturday.
It's hard to believe that the season is indeed here, and there's been a lot of hoopla, you know, to the victors go the spoils, so to speak. But you had an opportunity recently to make the trip to Columbia, and you and the guys were introduced at the State House. You got to take a tour and also got to meet with some of the politicians down there, including the governor, Nikki Haley.
Yes, Senator Peeler, who's a Gaffneyite, invited us down. He is the House Majority Leader. So he invited us down. We went down as a team and met with him, some of his staff. Representative Moss was there. We met the governor. We sang happy birthday to the governor. So that was a lot of fun. It was really a neat day for the team. Good opportunity for them to learn something about the government, and we got to watch some of how the House of Representatives worked. Got a tour of the State House, which was really neat. Singing to the governor was not so good.
Well, now,
sound good.
Hold on just a minute. We aired this last week. They have it on cue back at the radio station. And for those of you that didn't get an opportunity to join us for the show last week, we played the cut of the team singing happy birthday to the governor, and I want to go ahead and ask Jonathan back at the station to let's go ahead and bring that up so everybody can hear it. Now, I got to ask you, Coach, I said during the show last week that we all knew that the boys could play some lacrosse, but now we know they can carry a tune.
I don't think it's often that you make Governor Haley blush, but she blushed. The guys did a great job. She was really, really nice to us. She spent a lot of time. She was actually getting ready for the State address. So for her to take 15 minutes out of her day that day was really very generous of her, and it was an honor.
And you got to present her with a personalized limestone jersey as well.
We did. We gave her the #1 jersey with her name on the back, and hopefully she'll wear that around.
Coach, we were sharing a few minutes ago preseason consensus #1, and this year going into the season is a little different than when we went into the season last year. A year ago, we went in under the radar screen. It was a very special season. We took it one game at a time, and it turned out to be a very special season. And now this year, it's a little different. We're going to get everybody's best shot regardless of the time of season and regardless of what records are.
It's true. It's an honor to be the defending national champs. It's really neat to be ranked #1 in the preseason polls. We know firsthand that the preseason polls don't mean anything, because last year we were ranked #9 in the preseason. Turned out to have a pretty good season. To be ranked #1 means that you could have a really good season. It also means that you could end up ranked #9. So our guys have been focused. I haven't seen much of a hangover, if you will, from last season. We have addressed the preseason polls. We have addressed being the defending national champs. Our motto this year is hunt or be hunted. We will be hunted. We know that. So we're going to try and be the hunter as well.
Coach, as you've gone through the off season, you have fall ball, you have the all-season conditioning, and now you come back for the spring semester and you hit the practice field. As we head into the break here, we'll come back and talk about the players and the schedule that you have this year. But let's close out with a summary as to how preseason camp has gone thus far.
I thought we had a very good fall, very focused fall. The guys came back in better shape this spring than they have in previous years, quite frankly. So that was very exciting for us to see. The determination is there. We're healthy right now, knock on wood. Mm-hmm. So it's been a very good preseason. We scrimmaged Furman last weekend. We're going back over there tonight. Saturday we go to Chapel Hill to play University of North Carolina. So we're going to be a little bit battle tested before our first game even gets underway.
And that's one of the things that you have done here at the Rock. It's a very robust scrimmage slate. You took on Furman last year, but Furman's an up-and-coming program, quality head coach down there, and of course anybody that's ever watched the game of lacrosse, we're all familiar with the Tar Heels of North Carolina.
Yeah, we scrimmaged them a few years ago. It's great for us to go and play that level of competition. The speed of play is something that we really harp on here, and we try and play as fast as possible. So to be able to play athletes of that caliber, it's really a unique opportunity for us.
Well, stay with us. There's much more to come. We're talking with the head coach of the Limestone Men's Lacrosse program in J.B. Clarke. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the players that will make up this year's title defense team and also take a look at a very challenging 2015 men's lacrosse slate. That when we continue here on the Saints Sports Network. Back everyone as Saints Live, an inside look at Limestone College athletics continue. J.B. Clarke, the head coach of the defending men's lacrosse national champions, with us right now. And Coach, I was remiss earlier. We talk about some of the accolades, but over the Christmas break, you and one of your assistant coaches, Brendan Stoyer, honored by the USILA. You were the Division II Coach of the Year, and Coach Stoyer was the Division II Assistant Coach of the Year.
Well, those accolades are awesome. It's much deserved for my staff. Coach Kennedy, Coach Stoyer do a remarkable job. They're the reason, a large part of the reason we had the success last year, and very lucky to have those guys back again for another year.
Well, you take a look at the upcoming 2015 season and some of the players, and it's interesting because so many times coaches are worried about replacing statistics, and you're always able to replace statistics. You can replace numbers, but sometimes it's not necessarily the quantity, but it's the quality. You had some very special leaders on this team a season ago that have since moved on.
Yeah, like you said, the numbers are what everybody is going to recognize missing from the team when you look at us on paper. But, it's the Todd Nakasuji's leadership on the attack. It's Anthony Starnino, Glenn Travato at the defensive end. Guys like Jamar Pete and Joey Rodalone in the middle of the field. So losing players like that who gave more to us as teammates, team members, leadership than actual points, those are the guys that are really hard to replace, and the core values that those guys brought to the field and to our program, the character, those are the hard things to replace. I feel like we have a lot of those guys, but we won't know that until we get into the really tough times. So tough to replace.
And I know that this may be an unfair question to ask you this early on, because at this stage of the year, you've already mentioned you've got some scrimmages that are going on. You have practices. You're still trying to get some of those lines and lineups and rotations together. But how about some of the go-to players that will be relied on this year, some of the players that folks may remember from last year?
Well, clearly, when you have a first-team All-American goalie returning, things are going to be different for him. Last year, he was just a sophomore, first-year starter. People hadn't really scouted him, and so he had a tremendous year. Returning him is wonderful. I'll tell you, he's being pushed by a couple guys, which is better for him and better for the program. Face-off guy, Kevin Reisman, again, he was a freshman, so nobody knew anything about him. People are going to have scouted him and be coming after him a little bit. Offensively, the guys that had a lot of the points, Mike Messenger, Kyle Radigan, Colton Watkinson and Khalil Robinson. Those guys, they've improved their game. They're bigger, they're faster, they're stronger, they're better. So we're really excited about their progress even after what was a really good year for them individually. I feel like we're deeper. I'm not sure we're as good, but I really feel like we're deeper than we were a year ago. We can go to a lot of different guys. And last year we had two with some early season injuries. Joey Rodalone came in and played a remarkable role for us that wasn't expected, and Khalil Robinson did the same. So we're excited about a lot of the young guys, and our depth really is where we're most excited.
Now, as we talk about the attack and the midfield and the depth, defensively last year, you can't win a championship without playing defense. It doesn't make a difference how many goals you put up. And on the defensive side of the ball is where we will see some new faces. There's going to be a lot of guys that see action this year. They're going to be relied on with the losses we had.
Yeah, Starnino and Travato graduate. So Peter Papliani was the other starter down there, and what a leader he is. He's a coach on the field. He wants to be a coach. We sometimes have to talk to him about worrying about himself more and not everybody else so much. So I feel good. He's kind of the glue down there. But we will have new players in there. There might be a freshman starting, there might be transfers. We've got some guys who did play, we like to play a lot of guys. So a lot of our guys that will be filling in there this year have played in meaningful games. And we'll see how they progress over the preseason and early season.
How about maybe some of those that you've signed during the course of the offseason, and maybe a newcomer or two this year that you're counting on?
Well, the most obvious one is Jordan Saunderson, who is with us this year as a two-time first-team All-American junior college. So it looks like he'll be down there on attack for us, kind of taking over where Todd Nakasuji was. Big, strong kid, very talented. We just got another guy that joined us in the mid-year, a defenseman, Ryan Mulca, that you'll notice right away because he's 6'7".
6'7".
He's a big one. So we're excited about to see where he can fit in. We haven't really made any determination about who's starting it. So those are a couple of the guys that you might not recognize from last year's roster. And then our freshman midfield, guys like Ben Higgins and Jesse Schoenbrenner and Matt Nelson, they're starting to really show that they can play at this level right away. So that's what's adding to our depth, is those young guys.
Coach, one thing that we have seen you do in your time here at Limestone is play a rigorous regular season slate to get you ready for tournament time. There are a lot of programs that are content with a conference championship, and that's where it ends. But this is a Limestone Lacrosse program for 12, 13 years now, has been playing into the month of May, and you've got another challenging schedule again this year. You open with consecutive road games against nationally ranked opponents. You start off with an up-and-coming Lenore-Rhine program on February 7 in Hickory, and then the big Valentine's Day matchup at rival Tampa on Saturday, February 14, a rematch of last year's Division II semifinals.
Well, I believe in playing the hardest schedule we can. We did have to add two brand new teams to our conference, so we feel like they might struggle in their first year. So we wanted to add, we like to go to different places and play. Going to New York Institute of Technology this year, a top 4 or 5 team, I'm sure. That'll be an exciting trip for us. Lenore-Rhine is a team that's really up and coming. They had a great year last year. Tampa's Tampa. They're coming after us. We know that. We hope to show them a little love on February 14th.
I know this. When I had an opportunity to go down to Tampa with the men's basketball team back in December, I had an opportunity to meet Coach Whipple, the head coach of the Spartans, and really the only date that he ever gave me was that he knew Valentine's Day Limestone was coming down there.
We're circled in red on a lot of people's calendar, and to us that's inviting. We like that. It helps motivate us. We wouldn't want it any other way, quite frankly. And so we're excited about the schedule we have, and we really look forward to the entire schedule. But there are particular games that excite you a little bit more than others.
Well, in one of those you talked about a new coming program. Emmanuel is your home opener on February 17. Rollins is coming to town, another of the rivals coming out of Florida. You have the usual home opponents. We've seen Queens of Charlotte come in here. Florida Southern again is coming up. And then credit to you and the guys, you're going to make a trip up to New York Tech.
Yeah, we're going to go up to Long Island and play up there. New York Tech is one of those teams that's right on the cusp every year, and you never know when they're going to break through and win it all, quite frankly. Really excited about bringing two alums who are head coaches back to Limestone. Steve Gardelman, recent graduate, is now the head coach at Lake Erie College, and they're going to come to town and play. And Marty Ward, who was a great goalie here. He played for the Iroquois national team this summer in the World Games. He's a head coach at Florida Southern. So it's neat to bring those alums back, as head coaches especially, and get a chance to compete against them.
And a great segue, since we're talking about the likes of a Seton Hill, it's nice to see some fresh teams coming to play at the Rock, some teams that we don't normally get to see with a geographic locale, but Seton Hill is one of them. We mentioned Lake Erie is coming to town, and Colorado Mesa.
I believe strongly in trying to help promote the game on a national level. Even 5 years ago, I don't think anybody would have thought that University of Denver would be the #1 team preseason going into the Division I season. So there's a lot of great lacrosse really growing across the country, and Colorado Mesa is one of those better teams out there, and they offered to come to us. I said I don't want to go to Denver, so they're going to come here for the next 2 years actually. So it's a way to play another quality opponent, and it's a way to spread the game of lacrosse.
And finally, we want to share with both our listeners and viewers, of course, we're talking with the head coach of the Limestone men's lacrosse program, J.B. Clarke, as we get a little deeper into the season. We've got the stadium lights, and we're going to get to play some nighttime games here, beginning with that Colorado Mesa matchup, March 27th.
We're looking to a little bit of change of culture here at Limestone, and part of what we do is try to give the other students and student athletes, some entertainment. So hopefully those 7 o'clock games will be entertainment for the guys and girls of this college and the town. The town really did a nice job and welcomed us back after the championship and has invited us to a lot of things. And so we're trying to build the community relations. Football's helping with that, obviously, playing over at Gaffney High School. So hopefully we get some of the town people out to see us play at a Friday, Saturday night too.
Coach, you're gracious with your time. I know things are hectic. You need to get out there on the practice field, but thanks for stopping by and joining us on Saints Live. We look forward to the season.
Appreciate it.
All right, Limestone men's lacrosse coach J.B. Clarke has been our guest during this segment of Saints Live. Stay with us. We'll continue after this on the Saints Sports Network. That'll do it for the most recent edition of Saints Live. We appreciate J.B. Clarke, the men's lacrosse coach, stopping by to join us. As always, more news and notes on Limestone Athletics available right here on the official website of the Saints at GoLimestoneSaints.com. So long, everyone.